draw 5 cards. So the downside to that is that the supporter has to be the last card in your hand when you play it, but that's kind of the trade-off.
Also, throughout the tournament
Exactly.
today,
Um,
you will be able to
Now,
see
keep in
your
mind
teammates
also
at
that
each round
let's see here.
using
Actually,
the
she's going for a
automatic
muscle man on
abilities,
the Mew
as
EX
well
and
as
attaches a
areas that
lightning
you will
energy to the
actually
benched
notice
Mew EX.
in those streetlights
That
today.
tells me a lot about
Please
her
use the
possible
automatic
opening, and she
abilities as
just
much as
gives
you
up the turn
can,
here.
because
Does
that
not
means you
attack at
don't
all.
have to
This
take
is a
away
huge
from
opening for
your
Johnny.
opponent's team.
And what I was going to say was that
Play one
Nicholina's
game fast.
strength here lies in going
Right
first.
now,
When she went second here,
if you want to
she
see
gave Johnny the
the
opportunity to
online
evolve with
matches,
by
the
only taking
online
one
roster,
turn
make sure
to
the
get the
content
Archeops. Whenever she gets to go first,
is
she'll have two opportunities to get an
you can
Archeops into
go
play
down and
before
check
Johnny can
those
evolve.
lists.
So
You
that's
can
really
also
huge
wait
going into
for
this
the
2 out
player
of 3
rosters
match,
to be
where
posted.
we're
I would
looking to
like
see
all of
Nicholena
you
be at a
to
huge
begin
advantage
your
whenever she
seats
goes first.
in
Absolutely, and it
about
looks
10
like
minutes. At
Johnny
10
doesn't have
o'clock,
too much going
everyone will
on. He
start
played a
preparing.
Professor Sycamore, drew
Thank you very
7 new
much.
cards. I'm
The
seeing a lot of
rosters will be
energy,
coming up shortly.
seeing a Skyfield and some supporters, but I don't think anything that affects the board too much at this point. No Bronzongs.
That's
And
right. Skyfield does counter that Dimension Valley, and now it lets Johnny play up to 8 bench Pokemon as well as Nicholena. But Dimension Valley is going to be big in order for her to be able to start attacking with Pumpkaboo and even Mew EX here. So now that's the end of the turn for Johnny. He just retreats the Bronzor with a Floatstone on it and activates another Bronzor. That is not exciting if you're Johnny. I mean, this is awful, actually.
yeah, he's gonna have to pass the turn, and this is kind of what can happen to these decks. Giratina, Tyrantrum, their attacks cost a lot of energy. He really relies on getting those
Dimension
Bronzongs sent
Valley
up.
is going to force Johnny to discard one of his bench Pokemon, and down goes Hoopa. If anything, this actually kind of hurts Nicholena, but she does have the double colors now in order to actually start attacking with the Pumpkaboo. We're going to see the first knockout of the game here from Nicholena.
And there's a Jirachi gonna go ahead and use Stellar Guidance, get any supporter out of her deck. And yeah, the Skyfield being bounced there. There's a Lysander that's gonna be pretty big.
If Nicholena can get enough or enough Pokemon in her discard pile with Nightmarch, and Lysander up the Giratina with the double dragon energy, she will be in a great position, an amazing position going into the later rounds of this game. But she actually has to target the Shame, and she does not have enough Pokemon in the discard pile to knock out that Giratina quite yet. She actually only has about six
6.
Pokemon.
Yeah, looks like 6 to me. Still, that's 2 prizes.
That is 2 prizes. She now goes down to 4 prizes left as opposed to Johnny's remaining 6. However, Johnny still has that Giratina with a double dragon energy. If it can start attacking this turn, remember there will be no more double colorless energies for Nicholena for the rest of this game. She will be forced to actually try to knock out this Giratina with that Mew EX basically.
You know what else Johnny has? The best supporter card in the format, Teammates. So Teammates going to be pretty big here. He did suffer a knockout last turn, and Teammates is going to be able to let him search for any 2 cards. But first, he's going to Ultra Ball for the Shaman and draw some more.
Those are some bold words there, being the best supporter card in the format. It's definitely the
It searches
strongest
for
supporter
any
card in the
2
format.
cards.
It's strong. I'll give you that much. I think you could definitely make an argument for Archie being a very very strong supporter, and definitely a few others. However, at the for the time being, did Johnny end up going for maybe like a double dragon energy here? I would assume so if you're going to go with the teammates.
He played an Ultra Ball for a Shaman, used setup, and now he's battle compressoring. So
Yeah,
hasn't even had to use the Teammates
I
yet.
guess I meant will Johnny. But I would assume so, right? I would assume that Johnny's just going to go for a big knockout here with Giratina onto that Pumpkaboo and put a lot of pressure on Nicholena to not only have another Lightning Energy, but get about, let's say, 3 more Nightmarch Pokemon into the discard pile, or 2, I believe.
The only downside to that line of play is that Nicholena already has that Mew with 1 energy attached, meaning that she can just drop a basic Lightning Energy and use Night March using Mew copying Joltik. So certainly, getting the knockout,
That's true.
taking that ability away is strong, but it's not going to be as strong as it sometimes can be because that basic Lightning is already in play.
That is true. The Dimension Valley is in play, which means that she will only need one single energy card, a basic energy card at that, to be able to attack. So she already has it in play. The Dimension Valley being into play does make it so that she can attack for a single energy. You're absolutely correct. However, if he can find a counter stadium,
Yeah, the Skyfield would be huge here. I
yeah,
didn't see
remember
what
he
he
has
grabbed off
teammates.
the teammates.
Yeah, he definitely could have. And he does do it. He counters that Dimension Valley, so that's exactly what he's going to go for. Now he has to hope that Nicholena does not have another Lightning Energy, and I believe she still needs one more Nightmarch Pokemon if she only has 7.
Yeah, so another lightning energy, another copy of Dimension Valley will do it for Nicholena here. So like you said, she's going to need some more Night Marchers, but with a Battle Compressor, looks like that won't be a problem. But no energy currently in the hand of Nicholena.
And no Dimension Valley either. She needed one or the other. She needed either a basic energy or a Dimension Valley. Does she have access to another Shaman, maybe?
It's also going to come down to how many Night Marchers she has left in the deck, because it's an interesting situation the Night March deck can get into, is that she did draw a Battle Compressor, but she also drew a few Night Marchers as well, and so you can get into a point where you actually can't discard them.
I actually don't think I see another Shaman here in the deck. That could have been one way for her to find a way to draw that lightning energy, but I don't see it.
Yeah, look.
Nicolena's going back to her discard pile. I believe she currently has 7. It's hard to count, obviously, because we're looking on the stream, but the fact that she goes for one more makes me believe she did. So now she brings 8 Pokemon into her discard pile, meaning 160 base, plus the Muscle Band is going to deal 180 damage, which will knock out the Giratina, assuming she can find one more energy card. A Trainer's Mail. This is a big Trainer's Mail for Nicholena. Trainer's Mail is going to find another Trainer's Mail or a Floatstone. She actually goes for the Floatstone here.
Yeah, unable to take the Trainer's Mail off of that, so just to take the Floatstone.
Oh, yeah,
Pretty
exactly.
disappointing to miss the energy for Nicholena there. Looks like she's just going to have to pass the turn, although she can also copy other attacks on the board, but I'm not sure if there's anything too useful for her there.
One of the few hidden text cards, or one of the few little lines in the Trainer's Mail card that people rarely think about, is the fact that it cannot take Trainer's Mail as well. So you cannot chain Trainer's Mails together, and she had to take the Floatstone. She had no choice there, and now she's forced to retreat the Mew EX. And remember, that is one base lightning energy that's going to be going down. She needs a Dimension Valley and another lightning energy in order to attack, and now she's going to need a Joltik as well.
Yeah, so she is sending up that non-EX Joltik just to hopefully stop the prize trade. She has another one for Mew to copy, but things are not looking good. As you said, that Chaos Wheel on Giratina is going to make it so that Nicholena cannot play Special Energy, maybe for the rest of the game, which would just be devastating.
Now, she does have a Versus Seeker in hand, which means she has another shot at it, assuming Johnny does not have a... well, even if he has a Lysander, it's not that big of a deal. She can always just attack with a Joltik or something along those lines. But she does have another shot at it. She will need a Dimension Valley. Actually, a big end here from Johnny is going to change all of these plans. She's going to go down to a 4-card hand. Remember, we need to see a Dimension Valley plus a Lightning Energy from Nicholena in order for her to attack for a single energy against that Giratina. And that's going to be the only way that she's going to be able to get around Giratina's Chaos Wheel.
Yeah, I think she has at least 2 Dimension Valley, maybe even 3 in the discard pile, so it's going to be pretty tough for her.
But you know what? Chaos Wheel will not allow her to play the Dimension Valley. Remember that. It's one of the few extra attacks in Chaos Wheel's card. You cannot play counter stadiums.
Oh wow, you're right. So
yeah,
wow, Chaos Wheel is just unreal
second.
against this deck. Nicolena's forced to promote the Shaman, and you can see by her look on her face, not looking too good here.
Yeah, I mean, this is awful for her. She can't play any special energy cards. She can't play any... she needs to play multiple basic energy cards in order for her to even attack. She had a 1-turn window to attack with the Mew EX, but she did not find it. And the Chaos Wheel is now going to lock her out of the game. I can't think of a single way for her to come back now besides drawing her last 2 lightning energies. And that's if she even has both in the deck. I think I only saw 1.
You can see she seems pretty disappointed with the setup here.
Oh, no, she does have 2. Yeah, she had both in hand now. So she needs 1 more turn. If Johnny can find a way to Lysander up that Mew EX, the game will be over. But he needs a Lysander here. Otherwise, she might still be in the game.
He's also building up his board now. As you can see, that Bronzong comes into play. Uses that Metal Link's ability to power up that second Giratina.
Giratina is one of those cards that just does so many little things that it's really hard to play around. Like, for example, we all know that it doesn't let you play special energy cards because that's one of the main reasons to play it. But then it also doesn't let you play Pokemon tool cards. And some people don't even pay attention to that part of the text. And then the stadium cards as well. Like, these little things are what makes Giratina that good. On its own, with just this card, not letting you play special energy cards, it'd be good. With these 2 extra little pieces of text information, at that point, it becomes a lock card that can just lock certain decks out of the game, and one of these decks is going to be the Nightmarch deck. So as strong as Nicolena's start was, Johnny did end up getting that Giratina Chaos Wheel off, and it was more than enough given Nicolena's early, honestly, poor board presence.
And there's something really interesting is that off this call versus Johnny found that muscle band, meaning that he's going to take a prize here. He's going to take 2 prizes here, actually. And then if Nicholena can attack with that Mew, he's going to immediately respond with that Giratina, do 120 for the knockout and the game. So that muscle band was huge.
Yeah, that muscle band was huge. That was one thing that was keeping Nicholena in the game was the fact that she was still going to be able to survive any type of return hit from Johnny. But at this point, I just don't see another way out of this for Nicholena. She seems to be completely locked out of the game. She can't afford to Nightmarch with the Mew. She'll immediately be KO'd back. She's got a Versus Seeker here. The Versus Seeker, I'm not even sure what it can find. I guess it's going for an N, but she's going to draw Johnny 2 more cards, but he doesn't need a single one at this point.
Yeah, he has everything he needs on the board. Unless something radically changes, I think this is just going to spell the end of the game. That Chaos Wheel, just no double colors for you, no muscle bands or float stones or anything like that, and no Dimension Valley. Dimension Valley is just too strong.
He even has a way around like some sort of potential Lysander lock because of the Keldeo EX with the float stone on it.
Absolutely.
There's just no real options here for Nicholena, and I actually think the game is pretty much over. I don't see any way for Nicholena to come back, and even then, a Lysander from Johnny is just going to seal the deal. He goes after either the Mew EX or the Jirachi. It doesn't matter. I guess even the Shaman, he's got a pick of the litter here.
Any EX on the board, that's going to be a knockout, and Johnny is going to take game 1.
Yeah, Johnny takes game 1 in honestly dominating fashion. It seemed like Nicholena had the advantage early on, especially when Johnny was struggling to get any type of bronze or bronzong into play. Nicholena did miss the Archeops, but it didn't even end up mattering. What ended up mattering was the fact that the Giratina was just too big for her to snipe out with that Lysander, and she had to settle for a Shaman. Settling for the Shaman was nice, but once the teammates came into play, that teammates in combination with the double Dragon Energy and the counter stadium was perfect.
Yeah, that Giratina is just so perfectly well positioned versus the Nightmarch deck. It is slow. It does require, 2 double Dragon Energies. It requires 4 energy total. So there are things Nicholena can do, but that's just the perfect combination of text on that attack versus this deck.
It was a 1-turn window for Nicholena. If she had found that Lightning Energy, she would have been fine. She would have needed 1 more Pokemon, but 1 more Nightmarch Pokemon and 1 more Lightning Energy off of Juniper for 7 and like a 6-card hand that she already had. If she would have found that, she would have been in great position. She would have likely just won the game. She would have just steamrolled from that point on because there was no board presence whatsoever for Johnny. But that wasn't the case. Johnny Rabus just ended up just steamrolling past Nicholena once that Chaos Wheel came down. No energy in play for Nicholena. Had to retreat the Lightning Energy off the Mew EX. Nothing you can really do there.
Yeah, definitely a rough position. It's also important to note that Johnny did struggle to get those Bronzongs up. So, we could definitely see a world where next game similar thing happens, maybe even Nicholena gets in that spot where she hits the energy and she's able to take board presence. But if Johnny does have those Bronzongs, he can come back so quickly due to that Metal Link's ability.
Yeah. Remember, Nicholena going first is huge for her. We talked about this earlier, where now she has 2 opportunities to get the Archeops into play before the Bronzong comes down. This would be big for Johnny, Mr. Black Power Ranger himself, with the Mastodon t-shirt. And Nicholena does have an opportunity here to actually lock him out of game 2 and make a game 3 out of this.
Yeah, so we're going to see Nicholena start with a Pumpkaboo, play a Battle Compressor. Battle Compressor, we've talked about it all weekend, the best card for Nightmarch, the best card for a lot of decks, but especially Nightmarch, allowing the whole engine of the deck to function. And it looks like typically your first turn play, if you're Nightmarch with a Battle Compressor, is some combination of Lampents and Supporters. Sometimes you just throw 3 Lampents in there, sometimes you throw 2 Lampents and a Supporter you need to get back. Any combination in that realm.
And this is going to be very telling of what kind of a strategy Nicholena is going to be going for. The fact that she finds a Mew EX before anything just is a little weird to me. But again, we see no Archeops, we see no Maxi. There's a chance they're prized.
Yeah, discarding the Mew there, I think, is mostly a concession to the fact that if she's going to win this game, it's just going to be using the inherent advantage that non-EX attackers have, and that attacking with Mew too often can just spell trouble.
Oh, and there's actually, there it goes. The revive on the Mew EX makes a little bit more sense to me. I didn't understand why she would discard a Mew there and not another Nightmarch Pokemon, but that explains everything. A revive there brings the Mew EX back, attaches a couple cards to it, plays down the Dimension Valley, and now draws Nicholena 5 additional cards. Another Battle Compressor is really big here. Will she finally go for the Archeops, or will it be prized? I actually have no idea.
Yeah, I can't tell the contents of her hand, but it's going to depend here. Certainly, she'd like to get that Archeops up. Would be great for locking those Bronzongs out of the game, but I'm not sure. We're seeing a lamp in here. There's the Archeops. And like we said before, Maxi's Hidden Ball Trick can only be played if it's the very last card in your hand. So, we've seen Jacob Van Wagner win the World Championships this past year with Blastoise using Archie's Ace in the Hole. Very similar kind of strategy, but it definitely takes some maneuvering, takes some orchestrating to really get it off, and we'll see if Nicholena can do it.
That's right. I wonder if Nicholena has a Maxi in hand. She doesn't seem to be looking for it in the deck. She found the Archeops. There's a chance that it's in her hand, and if it is, then she does have an Ultra Ball. But no, she decides to just pass the turn, and now it's on Johnny to take advantage here. Nicolena's turn was not awful, but it definitely was not exciting.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, she got a Mew set up, but she has a Nightmarcher that's active that can easily. Well, I guess it's not going to actually get knocked out this turn unless something pretty crazy happens. Her hand, I do see an Ultra Ball along with some cards she can play next turn, which could mean that she can orchestrate the Maxi's Hidden Ball Trick on the Archeops by Ultra Balling for a Jirachi. But she does have one more dry step to go, which could complicate things. We're seeing a Hoopa on Johnny's side of the board. Going to go ahead and activate that Scoundrel Ring ability and find 3 EXs. Looks like a Giratina, an Aegislash, and a Shaman EX.
Hoop is incredibly strong in this deck because it finds you so many different potential cards. Like, the fact that your entire deck is basically EXs with the exception of Bronzong really makes Hoopa stand out here. And this one was no surprise here for him to find an Archeops, a Giratina, and now he's Ultra Balling away a Lysander and a Super Rod in order to find himself probably another Bronzor. And he does.
Yeah, and we're seeing, last game was all based around Giratina. We do see the Giratina hit the board, we do see the Double Dragon Energy, but we also see that Aegislash, which is going to be pretty big here. That Aegislash's ability preventing Nicholena from doing any damage to Aegislash with Pokemon that have special energy attached.
Exactly. Now, Nicholena did get 2 Battle Compressors down, so that does bring a reasonable amount of Nightmarching Pokemon down into the battlefield, but she still needs a few more, quite a few more.
Yeah, I believe she has 5 total. Not sure the count there, but definitely one of those things versus easy X decks. You need to get as many as possible, as quickly as possible. But with 2 Battle Compressors on the first turn and a Mew EX with a Muscle Band, she's certainly close. And we can see Johnny Battle Compressoring 2 supporters away, along with a Metal Energy. And you might say, why is he Battle Compressoring supporters away? He wants to draw those. However, those supporters are kind of only really good in certain situations, so he's dumping them in his discard pile and saying, you know what, I'm going to prevent myself from drawing these when I don't want them. If I need them, I'm going to play Versus Seeker and get them back.
Shaman does draw Johnny 5 cards, and now Skyfield does come down to counter the Dimension Valley. The more important part of this is that Dimension Valley got countered more than Skyfield got into play. At the same time, remember that the Double Dragon Energy is on the Giratina, so that puts a big clock on Nicholena right away.
Yeah, absolutely. That Skyfield's pretty
Hex
big.
Maniac from Johnny, that's a big one. The Hex Maniac will come down, and now Nicholena has access to 0 abilities for this turn. And remember, she has the Ultra Ball here, so maybe that was her entire plan right away.
Yeah, definitely. And we're seeing, the Hex Maniac not only shutting off abilities like Setup, but also Mew's versatile ability. Not going to be able to attack with Mew here, so Hex Maniac's certainly good in the right position versus decks like Nicolena's.
You can tell that Hex Maniac actually ended up being very brutal against her here. Her hand has a Shaman, it has an Ultra Ball. There was so many things that she could have done on this turn had she not been Hex Maniac. And that's a very key play by Johnny because remember, Hex Maniac is Johnny's way around that Archeops so that he can evolve into Bronzong. So for him to do it this early on is a little bit of a gamble, but it's definitely going to pay off.
Definitely, we do see Nicholena.
We finally see the Maxi come down from the Battle Compressor, by the way.
Yeah, there's a Maxi. Didn't quite catch the first card. Maxi's and one other card come down from the Battle Compressor. And we could see it here. We could see the Archeops preventing those Bronzongs from evolving. There's a Trainer's Mail.
Finds an Ultra Ball or a Dimension Valley. Dimension Valley's big. It's going to let the Pumpkaboo attack for the double colorless energy here.
Yeah, bumping that Skyfield. Johnny didn't quite fill his bench, so no Pokemon to discard, but Dimension Valley is absolutely huge, one of the keys to Nicolena's deck.
Yeah, if anything, that's a good thing for Nicholena. She doesn't want him to really get rid of that Hoopa for no reason. Hoopa's a very easy Pokemon for her to knock out.
And there's the Sycamore, drawing 7 fresh cards. for Nicholena.
And now you see two turns in a row in which she does not go for an Archeops. This time she maxed it down, but her hand was just not good, and she actually elected to just to go ahead and Sycamore there, and now she takes a prize with Pumpkaboo, takes the first prize of the game for herself, and remember Giratina can now put a huge dent on Nicholena here.
And we do see that Nicholena has set herself up to be in the same position as she was last game, where
There's only 4 Nightmarch Pokemon.
oh
Resistance.
wow.
4 Nightmarch Pokemon and Resistance does mean that the Bronzong stays alive with 10 hit points remaining. There was there was a very key moment there in which Nicholena just assumed that because it was a non-EX basic Pokemon that evolves, she would be able to knock it out. But given Resistance and given the fact that it has 70 hit points and the fact that she only has 4 Nightmarch Pokemon, that meant that she only deals 60 damage to the Bronzor.
Yeah, well, that's it's one of those things where you just assume that because of your Nightmarch deck is doing so much damage, you assume, oh, a Bronzor, I'll knock that out. But with 70 HP and that Resistance to Psychic, it looks like Nicolena's gonna miss the knockout there. Unfortunate for her.
Remember, by the way, that she's been battle compressing 3 different times and she's only found 4 Nightmarch Pokemon. I don't know what that means about her prize cards. I would assume that means that a few of the Lampins are prized and stuff like that, maybe. I'm not quite sure, but that definitely tells me a lot about the mid-game coming in, or her coming into the mid-game here.
Absolutely. Looks like they're debating something here. I think that the question might be whether.
Also, remember.
Oh, okay. So
it's a prize penalty. He gets to take a prize. It makes sense. I mean, it was a mistake. It's a mistake that got rectified right away. But it was definitely a big one. So he does get a prize penalty out of the deal.
Yeah, that's going to give Johnny a pretty big advantage here. Taking a prize is always good, having an extra card in his hand. And that's just one of the ways that you, in tournament play, you're kind of forced to follow the rules. And obviously just a simple mistake by Nicholena, and neither player noticed it at first. But, you got to follow the rules here, and that prize is going to be big.
Yep, now Johnny does get to continue his turn. He has 3 energy on this Giratina, 1 energy away from attacking. If he can evolve to a Bronzong, he'll be able to attack this turn, assuming he draws a Floatstone as well. I think he does have a Metal Energy already in the discard pile.
Yeah, we do see the Bronzong. We see a Computer Search. I'm not sure if there's a Metal in the discard, but a lot of cards in there, I'd assume so.
Another Sky Field. Down goes the Dimension Valley. Remember, if the Chaos Wheel does come down, then the Dimension Valley will no longer see play, assuming he'll be able to keep Chaos Wheeling throughout the remaining of the game. Computer Search now.
Yes, Computer Search coming down. Likely finding some way
there is a Metal Energy in his hand, so he's definitely going to discard that Metal Energy. And what do you think he's going to find?
Some way to retreat the Bronzong, a Floatstone. Let's take a look. Take a look at Johnny's list. 2 Floatstone in the list, so yeah, that would just be too strong to attach to that Bronzong, retreat it, take the knockout on this Pumpkaboo, prevent Nicholena from playing a Dimension Valley or any other special energies.
Yeah.
And kind of start the lock that he had last game.
That's entirely right. Now, he does find the Floatstone, I believe, which means that the Bronzong is going to, first of all, use its ability to put the energy onto the Giratina and then retreat, bring the Giratina to the active position, and we'll see a Chaos Wheel here from Johnny.
Yeah, so here's a Metal Lynx putting that Metal Energy onto that Giratina. There's a retreat. Giratina becomes active, and I think we're going to see a Chaos Wheel for the knockout here. Johnny going down to 4 prizes because of that prize penalty. And does Nicholena have a basic energy in her hand? I don't see one.
Oh, there's one right now. A huge top deck from Nicholena is going to bring down a lightning energy. There is no current muscle band on the Giratina, which means she's currently not in danger of getting knocked out. I don't see a muscle band in Johnny's hand either. Nicholena will not be knocking out Johnny because remember she only has 4 Nightmarch Pokemon in her discard pile. But if she can get a couple more, she'll be able to get a 2-hit knockout, assuming Johnny does not have a muscle band. This is big for Johnny. He needs to hit a muscle band. He's going to go down to a 4-card hand from the end here, but he needs to hit a muscle band here.
Yeah, that Nicholena or that lightning energy that Nicholena drew off the top is going to be huge. Still, she doesn't have the knockout yet. She still needs a little bit of work to do, but that was definitely the first step.
It was a huge first step. This step is a step that if she didn't take, she would have just completely lost right then and there. She was in danger of getting locked out of the game right away, once again by Johnny, who once again had that extremely aggressive start with Chaos Wheel. Remember, Chaos Wheel does not allow you to play any stadiums. Pokemon tools or special energies. Special energies and stadiums being the 2 key cards here for Nicholena.
I do see a pair of Ultra Ball in Nicolena's hand, but I'm not sure if it's going to be enough. I'm not sure if she can get, she needs 3 Night Marches in the discard pile, 2 now in addition to what she has.
Yeah, I believe she's currently at 6, right?
Yeah, I believe she had 4, and then the Pumpkaboo knocked out 5, and she just discarded the Joltik for 6. So she's going to draw some cards off Shaman, and we'll see if she can draw another Night Marcher.
I mean, she has just not been battle compressing them away, so that's... Oh, there's another battle compressor, though. If she finds 3 more Pokemon, does she have 3 more Nightmarch Pokemon in the deck?
Yeah, she only needs 2 more because of the Muscle Band, and she does definitely have them. Counting them out, there goes a Pumpkaboo.
She is going to get a beat. She is going to get to knock out this Giratina. This is something that we did not expect to happen, especially when Nicholena didn't even have a basic lightning energy in her hand to begin the turn.
Yeah, she definitely found all the pieces she needed. She needed to take out this Giratina, go to 4 prizes, put herself right back into the game. And it's going to now be on Johnny to find that Giratina or some other way to attack with the Aegislash and really kind of respond here, or else this game could definitely go to Nicholena.
Yeah, Johnny's saving grace here is that he does have a Bronzong in play. The Archeops has not been a factor at all. She cannot play the Muscle Band, so she can't do that. But she does take the knockout, goes down to 4 prizes, and leaves Johnny with 0 energy in play.
And you might be looking at that Giratina's 4 energy cost and thinking, wow, that's so expensive. But the power of Bronzong is Johnny could easily play Giratina here, attach a Double Dragon, activate Metal Links twice, and hey, here we go. There's the attack.
Johnny plays another Bronzong. That's 2 Bronzongs now that can activate here. That's a lot of energy cards that he has access to per turn. Even though Nicholena found a way to get back into this game, this is still Johnny's game to win, assuming he can start locking her out at some point. Hex Maniac is going to come down for Johnny from the Versus Seeker. That's a bold play.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to take the knockout here. He's going to Metal Links twice to that Aegislash as well as the attach from hand. Take 2 prizes here. Play the Hex Maniac so that Nicholena cannot play any use any abilities, and her special energy will be essentially turned off because of Aegislash's ability. So big turn here. 2 prizes remaining for Johnny.
So here at this point, Nicholena wants to probably play a double colorless and Lysander up a Shaman, take those 2 prizes, and just hope that Johnny doesn't have a Lysander himself. If Johnny does have a Lysander, the game is over. I don't know if I see a Lysander in Johnny's hand yet. It's close. I actually don't think I see one.
Yeah, I don't think he has one quite yet, but...
She still needs a Lysander herself, by the way.
Yeah, this because of Mighty Shield, if this Joltik attacks at Aegislash, nothing will happen because it does have that double colorless attached.
Yeah, she cannot take the knockout on Aegislash. Actually, Aegislash got Hex Maniac, right? So she can knock out the Aegislash.
Oh, wow, yeah, the Hex Maniac is active. That's actually huge.
Johnny actually Hex Maniac himself there in order to allow Nicholena to take a knockout on that Aegislash. Again, this could be big because now Johnny needs a lot of cards in order to get a victory here, because he would need a Lysander and a way to attack the Shaman here. She doesn't need a Lysander. She just Versus Seekered up a Lysander, I believe. She doesn't need it.
It looks like Nicholena. I don't know how many Night Marches in the discard pile. It might have not been enough to take the knockout there.
I mean, she had enough to knock out a Giratina. Why wouldn't she have enough to knock out a...
she had the Muscle Band before on the Mew.
Oh, that's true.
So it might be just that there wasn't enough Night Marches in there. Not sure of the count, but because the Mew being knocked out does not add to her number of Night Marches. But yeah, definitely allowing
another Hex Maniac. This is another opportunity. I mean, granted, at this point, it's going to be a lot harder for Nicholena to come back because she doesn't have a free retreater and she doesn't have a way to attack with the Nightmarch Pokemon. But this is another opportunity for her to get around Aegislash's ability. Dimension Valley comes down. Trainer's Mail now.
Mail.
Trainer's Mail cannot find the Trainer's Mail. Does it have any other targets? She has a Sycamore in hand, but she does not. She needs to find a way to get the Mew EX out of the active position and get a Pokemon that can use Nightmarch this turn. Now she has enough Pokemon in the discard pile thanks to the Joltik going down. So she's guaranteed to get a knockout, assuming she can attack this turn.
There's the
Mew EX did not attack because of Versatile being shut off by Hex Maniac, by the way.
yeah. Hex Maniac's in a lot of work this game. Super interesting card coming out of Ancient Origins. Been in almost every deck list we've seen in this tournament, but this game in particular has really showcased its power.
We're not sure how many Pokemon she has in the discard pile, but oh, there's another Trainer's Mail by Nicholena. Finds a Versus Seeker, finds a Floatstone. The Floatstone is huge. The Floatstone is going to allow her to retreat that Mew EX. She now needs a double colorless energy and any Pokemon. Any Pokemon with Nightmarch.
Nightmarch, right.
Yeah. She's going to Sycamore, draw 7 cards, needs a double colorless, and needs a Pokemon with Nightmarch. She has a double colorless. Does she have the Pokemon? She finds the Joltik. She finds the double colorless. She can retreat.
Gonna go ahead and take him.
She has to have enough Pokemon. 6, 7, 8, 9. 9, that's 180 damage, right? Yeah. She has enough.
Yep, it looks like she's just gonna go ahead.
She has the Hex Maniac. Sorry, he already played the Hex Maniac himself. Does she know that he played the Hex Maniac? Does she understand? I mean, she's got the win.
Yeah, interesting. I'm not sure if Nicholena may be forgetting that the Hex Maniac has turned off the Aegis Slash's ability.
No, oh my God, no! She missed it.
Yeah, so it looks like Nicholena has just gone and conceded the game. Gonna make sure that's what happened. But the Aegis Slash was turned off due to that Hex Maniac. Just an oversight there.
I mean, maybe we're making an oversight. I don't think we are. I'm fairly positive that we're right here.
Yeah, we may have missed something, but as far as I know, that Hex Maniac was Versus Seekered back on that last turn.
There's definitely a chance that the turn before this, she didn't have enough Pokemon.
Right.